Welcome to the channel. Today, I'll be recapping one of the greatest prison break and survival movies called The Way Back. This gripping film is based on a true story, where a group of prisoners embarks on a 4,000-mile journey on foot, escaping from a Siberian jail and ultimately reaching India. It's an adventurous and emotional tale, highlighting the prisoners' relentless fight for survival. The story unfolds during World War II in 1944, when the Soviet Union invaded Poland, leading to the imprisonment of many individuals. Among the captives is Janusz, a Polish army officer. He finds himself facing numerous accusations from Soviet Union officers, who present him with a document detailing the charges and pressuring him to sign it. The situation takes a distressing turn when Janusz's wife is summoned and interrogated by the Soviet Union officer. Under duress, she makes false statements, claiming that Janusz despises the Communist Party and engages in espionage abroad. Although deeply saddened by his wife's coerced words, Janusz understands the circumstances that forced her to speak against him. Consequently, Janusz is sentenced to 20 years, based on his wife's testimony, and is sent to a gulag prison in Siberia. The prison is nestled within dense jungles, and any escape attempts would mean facing the merciless wilderness, where survival is unlikely. As Janusz arrives at the prison, he joins the ranks of other new prisoners. The prison warden delivers a chilling message, emphasizing that the jail they are in is not their only prison. The entire surrounding area serves as an inescapable prison. The extreme cold of Siberia's environment leaves little chance for survival for those who dare to flee. During mealtime, as prisoners stand in line, Janusz finds himself standing beside an American prisoner named Smith. They strike up a conversation, and soon after, another prisoner named Khabarov, a former actor, engages Janusz in dialogue. They share their stories and discuss the duration of their respective sentences. The scene now takes place inside the prison. Among the inmates, there is a Russian named Valka, known for his ruthless nature. He mercilessly kills a man just like that who refused to give his sweater. Meanwhile, Khabarov and Janusz devise a plan to escape from the prison. However, Janusz raises concerns about their destination. On one side lies Germany, while the rest of the region belongs to Russia. Khabarov suggests fleeing south and crossing the border into Mongolia. But this would be a long and arduous journey, as Mongolia is thousands of miles away. Additionally, they need to gather provisions for the trip. As the days pass, the group starts saving their leftover food. On one occasion, while returning from cutting firewood in the nearby jungle, many prisoners succumb to the freezing winds and perish. Smith decides to defy orders and ventures into the jungle to save his own life. The guards and the remaining prisoners follow suit, seeking shelter. The following morning, Smith and some other inmates are punished and assigned to work in the mines for their disobedience. Janusz, who is also working in the mines, begins to experience hallucinations of his home. Smith helps him regain his senses, and Janusz expresses his desire to escape. He shares Khabarov's escape plan with Smith. 8 individuals become part of the escape plan: Janusz, Smith, Khabarov, Valka, an artist named Tomas, a priest named Vas, a boy named Kazik who has night blindness, and Zoran, an accountant. One night, a heavy snowstorm strikes, and Janusz realizes it is the opportune moment to escape. The snowfall would conceal their footprints, making it difficult for the guards to track their direction. However, Khabarov is hesitant, knowing that these people cannot wait for the winter to pass. Consequently, he decides not to join them. As darkness falls when the generator is turned off, the group seizes the opportunity and immediately heads toward the jungle. The guards soon discover the escape and give chase. However, the harsh and snowy conditions impede their progress, causing them to eventually abandon the pursuit. By this point, the escaped prisoners have made significant progress. However, the forceful wind hindered their visibility as it relentlessly struck their faces. Nevertheless, Janusz approached Valka and requested his knife to fashion masks from pieces of tree bark for everyone. Once equipped with the masks, they were able to proceed more easily. With the arrival of morning, a breathtaking yet merciless scene unfolded as everything was blanketed in snow. The group began to distribute the food they had gathered among themselves. Smith questioned Janusz about bringing Valka, given his reputation as a killer. Janusz clarified that Valka possessed a knife, which could prove to be useful. Nightfall descended once again, and the group ventured into the jungle to gather firewood, aiming to shield themselves from the piercing cold. Kazik joined them, but due to his impaired night vision, he lost his way in the darkness. Despite their efforts, they were unable to locate Kazik. As morning dawned, they made the tragic discovery that Kazik had been sitting nearby all along, frozen to death in the chilling cold. It was a profoundly mournful sight, a young and unknown boy who had fled for his freedom, only to survive for a single day. They buried him to rest and continued their journey. Several days passed for this weary group. Having traversed a great distance from the snowy region, they now found themselves devoid of food and water. Their conditions had significantly deteriorated. In a desperate act, Valka compelled to consuming a worm. One day, while everyone was slumbering, Smith abruptly roused them upon hearing the growling of an animal. They cautiously investigated and discovered that a pack of wolves had made a kill. Collaboratively, they frightened off the wolves and feast on the same prey as animals do. Now Janusz suggests that he will go ahead to check if there is a lake, as he estimates there is one along this path. They could catch fish there. The others have become quite weak, making it difficult for them to continue. Janusz conveyed that if he failed to return within a week, they should presume his demise. He continues moving forward alone, feeling extremely cold and getting soaked in the rain. He faces numerous challenges. Once again, he starts hallucinating, sees his home with a stone hiding the key underneath it. Somehow, he manages to find his way back to his friends and informs them about a lake that they will reach in 3 days. The next morning, they resume their journey, but it seems like someone is following them. These people catch up and discover that the person following is a girl named Irina. When they ask her about herself, she explains that her parents were killed by the communists and she was treated poorly. Smith doesn't believe her and accuses her of lying. He believes that bringing her along would mean less food for everyone, which they cannot afford. As a result, they leave Irina behind and continue on their path. Finally, the entire group reaches a breathtakingly beautiful lake, and things start to improve for them. They find a deer trapped in the marsh, capture it, and now they have an abundance of food. However, Voss, a priest, suddenly remembers Irina and goes to search for her. He brings her back by nightfall and includes her in the group. Now, everyone enjoys a satisfying meal with the deer they caught. The following morning, they bathe, wash their clothes, and quench their thirst with water to their heart's content. After spending some more time there, they set off on their journey once again. Irina confesses the truth to Smith, admitting that she lied before. She reveals that her parents were indeed communists, but they were betrayed and killed by other members of the party. That's why she wanted to escape from there, to a place without a communist government. Gradually, the group reaches the border of Mongolia, where they discover a beautiful village awaiting them. Until now, their journey has been filled with immense difficulty, enduring snowstorms, crossing mountains, braving the cold, and surviving by scavenging food from wolves. Now it seems that their hardships will finally come to an end because they have arrived in a different country, far away from Siberia. They press on, but Valka declares that he will go no further and opts to seek refuge in a local village. The remaining group members set their course towards Ulaanbaatar, a renowned city in Mongolia. As they advance, they encounter a welcoming entrance adorned with a portrait of Stalin, indicating that even Mongolia falls under communist rule. They also come across a devastated monastery, casualties of the communists' ban on religion. Aware that staying there could result in capture, the group resolves to continue their journey through China and onward to India, where British rule exists, not communism. Along the way, they face questioning from Mongolian hunters, but Smith claims they are pilgrims en route to Tibet, prompting the hunters to depart. By this point, the group has traversed nearly 3,100 miles. Their path leads them towards China, where the desert begins. The unforgiving conditions of the desert exact a toll on their well-being. They suffer from extreme hunger and thirst, their skin reddened by the scorching sun. Their lips crack and dry, having endured the cold of the snow and the heat of the desert. While journeying, Smith spots distant trees. They all venture in that direction. Eventually, they spot a well, where they quench their thirst and spend the night. The following morning, the group gathers as much water as they can and embarks on their journey towards China. However, they soon find themselves faced with a violent sandstorm. Miraculously, they manage to escape its fury, but Irina's struggles persist. Upon examining her feet, they discover severe swelling, rendering her unable to continue walking. Displaying immense compassion, Voss lifts her tenderly in his arms and carries her forward. However, despite their efforts, it becomes evident that Irina's last breaths are upon her. She has lost all hope, exhausted and depleted of strength, succumbing to the hardships of their survival. The group is overcome with sadness, yet they lay her to rest where they stand, and resolutely continue on their arduous journey. Now, only 5 individuals remain, their own conditions deteriorating, making it increasingly difficult for them to keep moving forward. Nevertheless, driven by an unwavering determination to preserve their lives, even at the cost of their own, they push onward. However, on this occasion, Tomas stumbles during their journey and meets his unfortunate end. They give him a proper burial. Now, only 4 individuals remain. They continue moving forward, fully aware that their arduous journey is far from over. As they press on, they catch sight of a mountain in the distance, a sign that the desert trail is nearing its conclusion. Suddenly, Smith collapses, his condition deteriorating rapidly. He urges the others to leave him behind and continue without him. However, Janusz steadfastly refuses to abandon his companion. Janusz directs the rest of the group to proceed and search for water while he remains by Smith's side. By nightfall, Janusz manages to bring Smith back to the group. Hunger and thirst had shattered them. Then, a glimmer of hope appears as they discover water trickling down from a rock. They eagerly quench their thirst. In that moment, Janusz notices a snake and swiftly captures it. They establish a makeshift tent to rest, cooking the snake on the rock. Anything left exposed would simply cook in the intense heat. As night falls, they consume the snake, deriving a small measure of strength from their meal. Smith and Janusz recount their stories of being falsely imprisoned. Similar to Janusz, Smith was also framed for a crime he didn't commit. Tragically, his son was forced into testifying against him and was subsequently killed. However, Janusz firmly believes that his wife is still alive and burdened with regret. Determined to reunite with her and ease her guilt, he resolves to reach her at all costs. The following morning, they set out on their journey once more. After a few days, they stumble upon a flowing river, a source of rejuvenation for their parched bodies. Continuing their trek, they eventually catch sight of the magnificent Great Wall of China, rejoicing at the thought of finally reaching their destination. However, they soon realize that their path stretches further, leading them into Tibet. Despite encountering snow-capped mountains once again, they successfully arrive in Tibet, where a local Tibetan resident shows them the city of Lhasa. Curious about the whereabouts of India, Janusz inquires, prompting the Tibetan to gesture towards the Himalayan range, explaining that India lies beyond it. Grateful for their guidance, they are warmly welcomed into a shelter, where they are provided with refreshments. The Tibetans inform them about a mountain pass that leads to India, connecting with Sikkim, but warns of heavy snowfall. Now, these people spend the night there, and Smith declares that he will not proceed further. He decides to go to the city of Lhasa, where he has a contact who can help him reach his home in America. Voss and Zoran suggest waiting for the cold to subside, but Janusz argues that if they stay, they will become accustomed to comfort and won't be able to move forward. He insists on continuing the journey. The next morning, Janusz sets off alone while the rest of the group wakes up and realizes that he is not there. Worried, Voss and Zoran call out for him and start going back to find him. Meanwhile, Smith continues his journey towards Lhasa. In the scene, Janusz, Voss, and Zoran embark on a challenging journey through the high mountains. They courageously face snowstorms and persist on treacherous paths without wavering. After several days, they successfully cross the Himalayas and arrive in Sikkim. The picturesque surroundings of tea gardens greet them, where they encounter women and children. The film beautifully captures India's warm and welcoming nature as the locals greet them with a heartfelt namaste. The expressions of joy on their faces reveal their newfound sense of safety. Janusz, Voss, and Zoran have traveled a great distance of 4,000 miles to reach India. When asked for their passports by a Sikkim police officer, Janusz explains that they don't have it. In response, the officer says, "No problem, come in. You have walked all the way from Siberia." The villagers are astonished by their bravery and the extraordinary feat of their journey on foot. With the assistance of the Indian government, Voss and Zoran manage to return to their respective countries. However, Janusz remains unable to go back to his home in Poland due to the communist regime. Consequently, he spends the next 45 years living in various countries. Finally, in 1989, Poland achieves independence from the communist government, enabling Janusz to return to his homeland. The film's concluding scene depicts Janusz arriving at his long-awaited home, just as he had envisioned during his hallucinations. Retrieving a key from beneath a stone, he opens the door to find his aged wife. Janusz, too, has aged over the years. Overwhelmed with emotions, they embrace each other and burst into tears. The film concludes with a profoundly poignant tale of being far away from home and family, living in constant danger with no hope of return. Such a journey necessitates immeasurable patience and resilience. Janusz's 45-year struggle to reach his home evokes an indescribable pain. If you enjoyed the explanation, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon.